Hey, what is up, everybody? Platform Disciple here, and today we are talking about uh, getting competitive on the ranked ladder. Like, what's the deal with that? How can you do it as a player who doesn't have as many cards or is newer to the game, and so on? And I will begin by getting to the main point of this, which is anyone, anyone can make top 100 if they just commit some time and actually think about uh like you can't be lazy. Like you can't expect to get top 100 without playing ranked, and you can't expect to get top 100 without trying to win every game. Like, don't, number one tip, don't concede unless you are like completely screwed, like completely screwed, because there's a chance that your opponent will mess up, among other things. But anyways, why am I talking about this is I see a lot of people in my comments saying like, oh, I don't play ranked, or I'm afraid I don't have the best cards, or I don't have the best deck, or whatever. And in addition to me seeing people saying things like this, I know that there are very few people playing ranked, because when I play ranked, I very frequently see a lot of the same people. And you can look at this top 100 list to get just like a general sense of it. And not only that, but I spent a solid week and a half on vacation not playing ranked or Infinity Wars at all, and I'm still top 40, which means that, I mean, clearly people aren't playing very much, because I should have, if people were playing ranked, I would have dropped a lot further from the top. I think I went on vacation around like high 20s. Now I'm just at 40, which that just means that people aren't playing very much. That, I mean, maybe these couple of guys at the top, they're like really grinding and playing against each other all the time, but these people at the bottom, come on. I know, first of all, they're probably not playing very much, and I know you, if you're not in the top 100, you're not playing much at all, and it's probably because, and I gotta be honest, I think people are afraid of playing ranked, and I don't know why. It's people are afraid maybe I don't have the best cards, or maybe these players in the top 100 are just so much better than me. First of all, you're not necessarily going to get matched up against the players in top 100. And second of all, they are not gods. First of all, so I'm using the same phrases over and over. First of all, second of all that. Anyways, I'm top 40 right now. And you all know from watching my videos that I make mistakes and I lose games. And that goes for everyone else on this list, and anyone lower than me on this list, that must be at least as much true, right? They must lose at least as many games as me. So, point is, I think you can get in the top 100 if you put the time in. It doesn't take that many games. You don't go down in score for a while. Generally, I don't notice myself losing points until I get like above 1,000. So even when I'm losing, I'm not going down by any more than like 5 points, is what I'm saying. So there's a low risk factor. You can get top 100 pretty easily. But not only that, I'm willing to bet that, and here's the challenge I'm giving myself, I'm gonna try to get top 100 using only cards you get from the campaign decks. So that means I'm going to be using a card pool that is definitely smaller than the card pool you currently have access to, because I know all of you have done the campaign, and if you haven't, go do it because you get some free cards. But anyways, this is an example, and I will post, I'm going to try to post in the description a document containing all of the free-to-play cards. In other words, all the cards that come from the campaign decks. This is a deck list I created using only cards from the campaign, which means every single one of you watching this video can build this deck right now. And not only that, but you guys can make a better deck than this, because if you've played more than 5 hours, you have more cards than you get from just the campaign. So you can upgrade this list very, very easily. So let's just take a look at this. You'll notice that if you take a look at the document in the description containing the cards you get for free, I use quite a few of them. And some of them are just really good and I'd use anyways. Some of the other ones I'm not too happy about having in there, but you don't have as many options when you're free to play. But I think I can take this deck or one like it and get top 100. And I'm hoping you guys are looking at the list. This is definitely not a list you should play because it's not the best list, but it's definitely a list that I think would be good enough to get top 100 at this rate. Just to bring up a comparison, this is the free Death Blast deck, right? This is the best Death Blast deck I can build as someone who has literally no cards except the campaign cards. And as a matter of fact, there's no Death Blast in here, but here's the serious version that's got all of the cards. And you'll notice a lot of the things are the same. We've got Bromic in the command zone. We have a couple Torchbearers. We have the Flamed On Commandos. We only had 2 Flamed On Hounds in the other deck. We've got Death Ray, Lightning Blast, Mass Death. We only had 1 in the other one. We have 3 Dark Blasts in the free-to-play one. We have Bromic's Banner. So you get in the idea. We have a lot of the same cards. So as a matter of fact, although I'm challenging myself to go free-to-play, if you're a player who wants to build a serious deck, take a look at the free-to-play deck I just showed. Pause the video, rewind, and look at it. And then look at this serious version and see if you can fill out the missing cards. And there are other good decks out there, but all I'm trying to showcase is that we can go free to play, and we're gonna get top 100. And I'm gonna show you a couple other of the decks that I've got free to play. And keep in mind that these decks, I had extremely limited choices, and these decks will lose games a lot more than the serious versions. But all I'm trying to do is demonstrate that anyone can do ranked, no matter how big your card pool is. And your decks are going to be better than these because you're going to be using all of the cards you have access to. So here's another deck. This is a mid-range aggro deck. And once again, only the free cards. And we have sideboards on each of these. Some seriously limited options, but these decks are all okay. And I've been testing them in normal games, and they perform pretty reasonably well. And have sometimes they lose, but sometimes they beat some of the better decks that are in the game, these top decks, because sometimes you draw well or sometimes you get a good matchup and it works out fine. This Sleepers deck is just a slightly modified version of the deck you get from the campaign. The biggest change that I made is I moved Dead Feaster into the deck and put a zombie scavenger in the command zone, and we just cut a couple cards and put in Firebolts, which came from, I think, one of the other campaign decks. We don't have a complete sideboard in this one because we had so few Sleepers cards, but the point is the deck kind of works pretty well. It doesn't work great, but it has some very good cards, for example, Scavenger, Hakeem, we've got 3 Inevitable Dead, which is really big. Overwhelming Dead. We have Awaken, so we can get Hakeem back again. So there's some good stuff. And here's the last deck I've built, and I may build more. And this is a weird tempo deck where you play good characters, and then you've got Matriarch and Dauda to keep all of your characters alive, so you can give them more health, you can heal them. Works really well with Yuan-Chi's Wrath. And once again, I'm going to say this, sometimes you just need a good matchup to win with these decks. If I get matched up against an aggro deck with this deck, then I have some really powerful cards like Yuan-Chi's Wrath that can almost single-handedly make the Flamed On deck just fold and keel over. So I think I've made my point, and this was a short video that didn't have gameplay, not very much content, but when the ranked ladder actually resets, which I hope will be very, very soon, I'm gonna start playing ranked with these free-to-play decks, and I'm gonna record some of these games, and hopefully you guys are gonna like them. But the whole point is, y'all need to buckle up and take a chance and just play ranked. You don't lose anything other than your free time for playing it, but that's, I mean, you're playing Infinity Wars, right? So your time is going into this game either way. If you play normal games versus ranked games, it's not very different. You're seeing top decks in normal play. You're seeing fringe decks in ranked. It's pretty weird. All right, and one more thing, because I know people are like, some of the people watching this vid are still thinking, well, I want to play the best deck available to me, and I'm a new player with a small pool of cards. What do I trade for and stuff? First of all, you can look at some of my videos. I have some pretty good deck techs on more competitive decks, but in addition to that, checking out what other players are doing when you play ranked, and you see what works and what doesn't, is a very good idea, or to get an understanding of what works. Like, what are the top decks? How do you know? The answer is you play, because the game is small. We don't have somebody like collecting data on these things. The top decks are a matter of opinion, and your opinion matters. But that being said, I'm going to show you, if you are a newer player looking to build one of the top decks and you have very few cards, one of the easiest top decks to build is gonna be Logarithmatron. And the reason for that is your whole game plan is to use Logarithmatron to get a ton of health and power, and then play Hakim to one-shot your opponent. And guess what? Because Logarithmatron eats every card you from your hand that you're drawing, what's in your deck doesn't matter that much. You fill your deck with whatever you want. Of course, the deck is going to be better or not, depending. But let me actually grab my Logarithmatron deck. But point is, it's not very important what's in the deck. Fill it up with whatever you want. You're going to overcharge most of the cards either way. So this is not a bad starting point, and there's plenty of other decks. Like I said, I'm going free to play this month, and I'm going to show you that you don't need the cards, and you can play whatever you want as long as you test the deck, and edit it. And that's all I have to say for this video. And until the next one, everyone, peace out.